Welcome back, everyone, to the T.R.O.N podcast. This is your host, Rashad Woods. Today, I have a very special guest, a man who has a very interesting story to tell, an entrepreneur since the age of 13 and inspires men to reach better versions of themselves and reach the pinnacle of success, but still found out that he had a better chapter to write in his life. Mr. Daniel Krynzel, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me.
I'm stoked, man. We got a chance to speak earlier, and your story, I don't want to tell yours. This is what the show is all about. So let's talk about what you do, Big Balls Brotherhood, and what it took to get you where you got right now, sir.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot right there. Let's start from the beginning. How's that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it all started when I was 13, building a business. Had a lawn service in Ohio.
Right.
Making money, man. It was great. Bought my first car cash when I was 16, and I was a baseball player.
Right.
And went to college, played a year in independent ball, and had my second child on the way. So I decided, it was time to hang up the cleats.
Right.
And got into the mortgage business. And for 22 years, I did some really big things in that industry.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Made millions of dollars. Things were amazing. I actually built a coaching business that was connected to the mortgage business around coaching realtors and lead gen and sales and closings and things like that. And it was pretty incredible what was happening, man. And then there was one day where $100,000 in my account, and I wasn't expecting it. I was like, when you're a kid, I don't know if you've ever had this happen, but when you have like money come in that you're not anticipating, it like wrecks your account in a positive way.
Right.
So there's like extra zeros in my checking account, and I'm like, where did this come from? I know it's kind of funny, but like this is literally where I was.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
And so I look at this and I'm like, oh yeah, it's from the title company. I was one of the owners of the mortgage company at the time. So,
right.
I just had people wiring me money all the time. And that was for a few closings that we had the week before. And it was only the 5th day of the month. So I had 25 days left of the month. Like we were going to have a killer month. And I had, mortgage, and I had my coaching and everything,
Mm-hmm.
So this is what happened. I felt terrible.
That's crazy. That's crazy because, just trying to compartmentalizing that, is to have a moment like that where you're reaching your success and the bank's right, from the outside looking in, everybody would envy what you have right now. But to your point, there was something missing.
Yeah. So I prayed.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, why do I feel this way?
Right.
Many men would kill for the opportunity in the position that I placed myself in.
Absolutely they would.
And he told me that my season was over, shut it down. Like booming voice in my head. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Shut it down. You're done. Your season is over here. I heard it twice.
Yeah.
So
we're talking, and then how long did that process take? Was it in your head for a while, or was it just sudden that just suddenly happened?
I started unwinding that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been walking with God for over 15 years now, daily.
Right.
And my relationship has gotten so strong, and I have so much confidence knowing that it's his guidance, his inspiration, that when I hear his voice, when he tells me to go, I go. When he tells me to move, I move. So, yeah, I start unwinding. There was another owner of the company. I called him the president of the company, actually. And I basically made him a deal. And I'm like, take over the building, because I had my own building. And, you can have my pipeline. You can have the active files that are in there. I just don't want to be responsible for the lease anymore. And take on all of my responsibility because, I have the greatest team out of the whole company because I built it.
That's unbelievable.
So that's kind of how it ended.
And you did this without like any sort of like plan in place when it happened, right? Like normally when people have like what you call the exit strategy, there wasn't exactly like the exit strategy in place. It was just like, this is my revelation. This is my moment of clarity. I have to do this, and I have to put this down and go to another avenue of life.
This is how I can represent Big Balls Brotherhood, man.
Because you live it. Because you did.
That's right.
You did exactly just that.
How many coaches are selling something that they don't live? How many coaches are selling something they have no idea? It's the biggest crap ever.
Yeah, you talked it and lived it. And so what I found fascinating about that too is that it also took a leap of faith in yourself. Obviously, you had, the religious conviction reasons for it, why. But you also had the faith in yourself to be able to do it. How did your inner circle take that news when you said, I'm called to a greater power and I need to put this down and to turn in another direction? from the outside looking in, people would think you're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all thought I was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even my close family.
Yeah.
I don't care.
For sure.
You know what I care about? I care about what God thinks of me.
Right.
He's the only one that matters.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes, I love my family, but their opinion, not even close to as high of opinion of God.
Right.
God is number one. I idolize God. I don't idolize my family. That's hard for a lot of people to sit in, but I idolize God first. That's what it says in the 10 Commandments.
Right.
There are 10 rules to live on this earth. This is God's earth.
So how does Big Balls Brotherhood, how did that come into fruition after you had all that going on? Here you are, mortgage business, team, sales, entrepreneur since 13, athlete. For all intents and purposes, when you look at an image, that's you. You're like, hey, man, family, kids, career, whole 9 yards. So how did Big Balls Brotherhood, what came with that name, and how did you begin to lead other men to success?
Well, there's a 5-year gap from then until now.
Okay.
So Big Balls Brotherhood is a new movement, brand new. We have brothers right now that are assembling. We have brothers that are, their lives are changing forever right now. But there's 5 years that we need to talk about for a second, if that's okay. From the exit of the mortgage business until today.
Okay.
Didn't just, I didn't leave the mortgage business yesterday. I left it 5 years ago. And God started building me. He started training me. So I shut down my realtor online coaching business as well. I was coaching realtors, a 7-figure online business. It was great. I shut that down too because he told me to. So that was the second big moment that I had. Okay, I'm going to listen. I'll shut it down. Then I went into business consulting. I started teaching sales. I started assembling sales teams. I started getting big business consulting contracts for big companies. I would be in a $20, $25 million company all day long, just setting and building sales teams for them, setting processes, setting operations, finding the money for them, increasing their profit. Like God was sharpening me as a weapon. It's not just, come into the brotherhood and we read the Bible and we connect with God every day and we hear God's revelation. Yes, we do. And that's the first and most important part. But the other part of it is you got to have a leader that's weaponized in helping men make more money. If men aren't making more money, they're not as powerful as they need to be. The whole reason why you need to be powerful and make more money is so you'll listen to God. If you're weak, you won't listen to God. If you have more money and you're powerful and you're stronger, you'll listen to God. So we build men. We make men stronger inside the brother.
What stage do you get men at in life, right? Do you get them when they're professionally at a certain point, religiously at a certain point, personally, divorce? What stages? Like, where are they? Do they come to you like, hey, Daniel, like, man, I'm 45 years old and I've done all these great things in life, but I'm empty personally inside? Or is it just, I don't want to say typical, but how do they come to you? Where are they at?
Yeah, so from what I've seen lately, it's the married man that's a businessman that feels like there's a lot more in his tank that he just doesn't know how to utilize. That's who we've been really focusing and working with lately.
Yeah.
We can work with younger men. We can work with single men. That's great. We can even work with employees. But the truth is, what I've seen in the biggest change in the lives inside the Big Balls Brotherhood is men that are married, have a couple of kids, business owners, and they're just sitting there like, man, I thought I was going to feel different, or I thought I'd be further, or I thought there was more. I know there's more. I don't know what it is. Like they're searching. Those are the men that gravitate towards this message, and those are the men that we help the most.
Well, even just saying that, when you're reaching people who are successful, it's yourself, for example. Like, you look at Tom Brady, 7 Super Bowls, right? Leaves New England after the age of 40 years old. And he's like, I want another one. And most people would be happy with one because it's so hard to get just one Super Bowl. And so now you're getting successful business owners, people who have, families, either former athletes, et cetera, whatever stage you're at in life. And here you are saying, you want more, and I'm able to show you how to get more. So because you're an athlete, you already exhibit a lot of discipline to where you got. So what conversations do you have with people? Like, what's the methods to get them to reach the best version of themselves?
Well, first, setting a target or setting goals or knowing your why, whatever kind of training you want to look at. Tony Robbins is an amazing coach.
Sure is.
He wrote the game.
Absolutely.
I've been a student of his for a long time. He talks about your why. He talks about goals.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that we do inside the Brotherhood is we don't set a 1-year goal. We set a 3-year vision. Right. And the 3-year vision that we set, it's around our 4 pillars. So we have a strength pillar, not a body pillar, not a 6-pack pillar. If that's what you want, that's cool. But I want men stronger physically.
Right.
I want men stronger physically and mentally.
Yeah.
So that comes with them having a discipline on making a commitment and following through with it. That's the mental strength game that we focus on. And then the physical strength game we focus on is what is the dumbbells that you're lifting on incline? What is, like, let's measure this. Oh, you're only at 45 pounds? Okay, you need more.
Absolutely.
So grab the 45, do reps of 6, 4 of them.
Right.
Next week, grab the 50 and do 4 sets of 6. And then the next week, grab another 5. Like, literally, I want men stronger. So that's the first pillar. Let me ask you this. So if you were stronger mentally and physically in the gym, would that carry on into the rest of your life? Yeah.
You know, it's funny you say that, because I started actually, and I don't think people really understand how difficult this is. You think you eat good, and then when you start measuring your calories, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not even close to being where I need it.
Yeah.
You're eating 4,500 calories a day. You don't even know it, right? And you're like, hey, you're supposed to be at 3,000. You're supposed to be at 2,900. When you actually put that goal of what you want to eat and that weight you want to be at, your mentality changes. You're measuring your foods, your discipline, similar to what you were talking about. Everything changes, and you don't compromise it because you have to get where you want to get.
That's right. So it's mental and physical strength that gives you power.
Absolutely.
We both agree with that. That's the first pillar is strength.
Right.
Second pillar is wealth.
Right. When
you make more money and when you have more investments making you money on a monthly basis, you have more power.
Right.
So we focus on the wealth pillar as well. Right. I make men more money, straight up. You're around me, you make more money because I'm going to push you and I'm going to pull you and I'm going to find the money. It's what I do. That's why God trained me for the years that he did in the business consulting. Why God trained me when I was 13 to build my own business when I was a kid. When God trained me to have a successful mortgage company and to have a successful team, to where I could do over 50 transactions with my name on it every single month and literally only spend 5 or 15 minutes with each client. Like, my team did it all. Like, I built processes.
So let me ask you, at 13, how does that even get into a 13-year-old's head to be that entrepreneurial that early in life?
Yeah, I'll tell you. We had a house. It was in Ohio, okay, outside of the outskirts of Dayton in Centerville, Ohio.
Okay, yeah.
And we lived off of Marshall Avenue. It was this little house with a push mower, lawnmower. Okay.
Yeah.
Then when I was like 11 or 12 or maybe 13, I don't remember exactly what year, we moved to this big house in Centerville. Mm-hmm. And it had a riding lawnmower. My dad said, if you cut the grass, son, I'll give you $1 every time you cut the grass.
That's all you need to hear.
I'm like, okay. So I cut the grass twice a week. So instead of getting $1, I got $2 a week.
For sure.
And I'm like dating myself, but not really. I mean, I'm 45, you know?
Yeah, it's all good.
So, but I wanted candy. That was like my motivation. He would buy me my bicycles and my stuff I needed for sports. Like, I didn't need any of that. I just wanted candy.
You want to treats.
Sure. That's it. So then I realized, wait a minute. If I mow more lawns, I can make more money. And I can actually charge them like $20 because they're not my dad. My dad doesn't pay me that much, you know? And I can use the riding lawnmower. And I can drive the riding lawnmower to the job. I don't even have to walk.
Perfect.
And I can use a push mower because we have one of those too.
Simple math.
So I went to it was FedEx Kinko's. You remember FedEx Kinko's?
I do.
It's not that anymore, but it was, right?
I remember it distinctly. Absolutely.
So I got color copies and I made Dan the Man's Lawn Service flyers myself when I'm 13. Put my home phone number on it. Free estimates, just call. And literally, my mom would be my receptionist. She would answer the call. She would have messages on my bed from my house line. And then I would go and bid the jobs on my bicycle and I would get them. I was a hustler. And I would say, you know, I'm going to do the best job you've ever seen, just so you know, because I take pride in my work.
And it was just you. You never called any friends. You were just doing solo. Wow.
I had my brother. I contracted my brother once or twice because there was too many of them. But really, no, there was no employees. So anyway, they would take on the job and then I would get it. And I made enough money to where I bought a 1986 Pontiac Firebird when I was 16. And it was only like $3,000 or whatever, but like that was my money.
It was yours. Yeah. And the crazy part is all your buddies, you know, and your friends, you know, inner circle, you know, they're either working, you know, McDonald's, and that's not to diss any unemployment, but it's like, dude, I had my own schedule, my own customers, clients, you know, and I do a great work. They put their faith in me and I'm knocking it out. You know, here you are doing your own thing at 13. And so that already planted the seed of I'm going to make sure that I'm going to take care of myself and put my hard work to pay off dividends for myself. And that's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. And so baseball, you played baseball.
I did. I played high school, played in college, Fresno City College, and I played just one quick year in independent ball. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was a dream of mine.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I never was able to play in the pros, and be on the show, but
Yeah.
that's cool. God has different plans for me.
I mean, the talent that it takes to get to the bigger levels in sports. I mean, listen, we always say, like in basketball, the 12th guy on the bench is a world-class athlete, right?
Yep.
So, people don't really understand, well, you understood, but the average person really doesn't understand the talent it takes to do something at that level.
My dad would always say, if you could just have my mind, you would win. You would be there. And I can look back now and be like, he's right. Because with the discipline and the structure that I've set inside my mind,
right,
I would do what I would have to do to be the best in baseball today.
Absolutely.
But I'm 45. No excuses. It's just,
cool.
there's kids that are now up there.
No doubt. And the training that they have and the opportunity of all the, whether it's medicine or trainers, all the amenities that they get at such an early age, it's incredible. So what I was curious about is, we talked about your sessions. Like, so how deep do you get with people? Are they really pouring their soul into you? Is it, hey, I'm going through divorce, my kids moved out, how do you print out some sort of outline of an individual, so to speak, to make sure you hit the points of that particular person?
So inside the Brotherhood, we meet weekly in a small group is what we do. And when we meet weekly, this is where we're making commitments for the next week. We're reviewing, we're reporting, and we're planning.
Got it.
So inside the quadrant, so there's strength, there's wealth, there's leadership, there's mission. Those are my 4 pillars. So what we're doing is we're saying, last week, these were my commitments. I made them. That's great. These are the commitments I'm going to make for next week. And then the men hold each other accountable.
Beautiful.
One of the things that I haven't shared yet that I really want to make sure that we hit, if that's okay, is
absolutely
the moment that I was hearing God tell me to shut my mortgage company down and then shut my coaching company down. I didn't realize at the time that the reason why I wasn't feeling fulfilled was because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I wasn't using my gifts and talents that God gave me from birth for him.
That's a heck
not
of a
for
revelation.
Me, for him.
Right.
So yes, he wanted me in the mortgage business for the season that I was in. He wanted me in the coaching business for the season I was in. And then he put me in the business consulting business and the sales training business for the season that I was in to weaponize me for who I am today.
Right.
So I can actually build this brotherhood the way that he wants it built. The truth is, you'll never have fulfillment unless you're on mission for God. Meaning, if you haven't connected how you actually spend the majority of your day when it comes to making money or making impact or whatever it is that you do, if you haven't connected that with the mission that God has for you, you will never feel enough and you will never feel fulfilled. You won't. I know this for a fact. You just won't. There's not enough money that can fill the gap. There's a hole that will be in your chest, and it will be there until you fill it with God's mission. That's how we're designed.
Right. And so, and what I'm curious about is, how do people who are so successful, feel empty? When you look at them, material needs can sometimes fulfill a lot of things in people that make them, for lack of a better term, can be, not spiritually whole. But how do you, it's so amazing that people can, you hear about people like Robin Williams, like we talked about.
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, that person was empty inside, and it's, respect to him and his family. It's just, it's mind blowing that you had that come into your life, and it's startling to me. And these same men that you talk to as well, 2 business owners, successful people, built multiple businesses, and they had to take a step back and look at their lives and say, this is what I'm not fulfilled at, and I need to pursue this instead.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely, it warms my heart just thinking about that.
The question that a man will have, he'll have it at some level. Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Is this the purpose that I'm supposed to be on? Mm-hmm. Is this the mission I'm supposed to be on? Is this literally why I'm here?
Right.
Why am I here?
Absolutely.
And when a man starts asking that question, the only way that man can get that answer is from God. Nobody else knows the answer. I don't know the answer. When men come in, what's my mission? I have no freaking idea, dude. No. Here's the tools. Here's the software. Get into the Bible, get into the Word, get some revelation, get some guidance, ask these questions, journal this, use the software, show up to the Brotherhood calls, do your daily chat, do your check-ins. That's what I'm going to tell you to do. You'll get the answer, guaranteed. You'll get the answer. And once you get the answer, then I'm going to help you bring it through the finish line.
How many people reach out to you? Is it your immediate ranges? Do you have people from across the country reaching out to you?
Yeah.
Do you do online coaching sessions for people? how are people reaching out to you, and what's the size and scope of what people are reaching out to?
Yeah, so it's pretty large.
That's
We
amazing.
actually run ads,
Yeah.
and people they book calls with us, and we have a conversation with them around if they're a good fit. We don't take everyone, just so you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We have to make sure that the man is right. We have to make sure that the man is going to be willing to be an asset in the brotherhood. Our rooms are sacred rooms.
That's
our
amazing.
live events, secret live events. So my whole point to this is like we don't care if you want in. We have to make sure that you qualify.
Absolutely.
We have to make sure that you fit.
Right.
And once we get through that process, and once we open the gate for those men, then they come in. And then their life is never the same because they're connected to God and they're connected to their mission.
Right. And I loved some of your Instagram posts because everything was so positive. Everything was so driven, right?
Yeah.
Being a better version of yourself. You don't really seem like the type of person that really has time for negativity or people who are lazy, right?
That's right.
It's and I think that's, based on the previous conversation that we had, if you want to go out and get something, if you want to make improvements in your mentality, if you want to make improvements in your body, it's very important to surround yourself with people who are willing to get you there. And, for lack of a better term, you don't get better by eating junk food, right? So in order to lose the weight, in order to have a strong mindset, people like yourself and the group that you have, businesses that you have built, it's very important to surround yourself with like-minded people.
Yeah.
And how have you helped each other? When you guys are meeting, do you do retreats? You said you do live events, you do webinars as well too. What's the next steps in the company?
So within 3 years, here's the 3-year vision of the company. There will be 200,000 men involved in the Big Balls Brotherhood.
I almost fell off this chair.
200,000 men that are all connected to God, all asking the question, what can I do for you today, God? Once they're connected, once they've read their Bible, a portion for the day, right. Once they're starting to get revelation, once they're connected, that's how I'm going to change the world. That's how I'm going to help this spiritual battle. That's how we're going to win for God. God wins every.
Yeah.
So that's where we'll be.
That's a small town. I mean, that's not even a town. That's a city, man. 200,000. That's crazy. So, and you know what I liked about what you said too was, it's like when people say diet, right? Like that means you put a small window on when you want to actually lose weight. So when you say 3-year vision, it's not like you're saying, hey, let's put this in a 6-month, or when you're talking to somebody, you're making sure you're thinking long term, because otherwise what happens is the crash, right? Yep. People take a small 3-6 month window. I'm just going to do this for a little bit. And it never works, right?
Yeah.
It never works. You play baseball. You can't play good baseball at the level that you played it at if you just want to be good for 6 months.
That's right.
It just doesn't happen.
No, it was my whole life.
Exactly.
So if you can imagine focusing a 3-year vision around the 4 pillars, like a lot of men come in and they're like, my 3-year vision for my mission that God has for me. I don't even know what it is. Great. Well, that's the first start.
Yeah.
I'm going to find my mission from God. Okay, absolutely. That's great. It's a 3-year vision. Now there's no pressure. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Same thing with the body. Like, could you imagine what kind of body you could have if you actually set a target that's 3 years out?
Oh my gosh.
You'd be a killer.
Oh, it'd be nuts, right?
Because,
and not to interrupt you, but people get discouraged, right? Because, you get your app and you're like, hey man, I want to lose this amount of weight. And all of a sudden you punch in the numbers and it's like by September, and that's 6 months, 4 months, 5 months from now. And you're like, September, man. And that's when people automatically check out mentally. I'm not trying to do that in 4 months. Well, you're going to lose about a pound a week, maybe. So to your point, if you're like, in 3 years, I'm going to dedicate myself to eating right, working out 3 to 5 days a week, measuring my food, getting adequate amount of sleep and water. Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah. Same thing with money, with your wealth pillar. Think about that.
Absolutely.
What's your 3-year vision for your business?
No question.
What's your 3-year vision for your job or your business or whatever you're going to create? What kind of impact are you going to create in 3 years?
Without question.
And then we break it down into a monthly goal.
Right.
And then we meet as brothers weekly and we have weekly commitments. So we have the weekly commitments that are going to hit our monthly goal. Right. And our monthly goal is always set for that 3-year vision.
And the great part about that is that you don't want to let those other people down. Even if you don't have it in your to not let yourself down. You know that weekly that you have a group of men that are, that you have, I told them I would do this the next following week. They're not, they're taking their time out and your time. And you can't give any excuses, right?
No.
You can't give any excuses. You're committed. You're all in. It's a team. It's a sport. Like you said, you're going to be here ready to play in the game. You're not. And there's a problem if there is.
That's right.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So I've always asked this question to everybody I've talked to on here. You know, you don't need me to find out who you are. You're infinitely successful before the podcast. How do people find you, Big Balls Brotherhood, all the great things?
Yeah. So if they want to officially apply to be considered, there's a waiting list. This is not a book. Yeah. There's not a book a call or buy this. No, you can be considered and you have to wait. Right. And I'm not saying this in a cocky manner. I'm just saying we only open the gate when we want to open the gate, when we're ready for the next unit to be established. So right now, if you go to bigballsbrotherhood.com, you can join the waiting list officially. You join the wait list, then we can have a conversation when those times are open. We'll contact you. You can either get on the phone with me or one of the other people from the team inside the organization here, and we'll have a conversation around, you know, if you can honor the commitments that we need you to honor. If you can honor the commitments, we'll let you in.
Absolutely.
And then you can also see us on Instagram and Facebook, Big Balls Brotherhood.
You know what I liked about your website? It got right to the point, right?
Yep.
It was like, wait list, here's what you want to accomplish. Here's where you want to be at in life. This is what I'm all about. And here's my proven record of success if you have any questions about it, right? Yep. It was not a lot of, I don't want to say pizzazz, so to speak, or like, you know, it was like, here's the wait list. If you want in, you want in, you know, and we're selective of who we let in. Because
this is not a look at me movement. This is not a look at me. Like I was the look at me guy, dude. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I had the McLaren with the orange doors that opened up, you know, straight up and down. And I ran ads and I did that. And I even think about it right now and it makes me vomit in my mouth, dude. Like
it's crazy.
There's so many guys that are still flexing and playing that game. This is not this. Like, I don't know what your mission is. I do know that your mission is not poverty. I can promise you that. I haven't seen anyone have a mission from God that's poverty. At the same time, it's not a guarantee that you're going to be wealthy, abundantly, past your wildest dreams. I don't know what your mission is. Right. But I do know that if you're connected to your mission, you'll feel better inside and be more fulfilled than you'll ever be. There is a lot of men that are supposed to have influence and power and money inside God's mission. I don't know what it is for you. If you want to figure it out, join the wait list and see if it works out for you.
And I think, you know what else is what I think attracted, you know, me wanting you on the show when we connected was like, you know, you get straight to the point. There's a lot of filler on the internet, and there's a lot of, I don't want to say, you know, great salespeople who tell you this book, and I'm not dismissing books, but it's like your method specifically was like, there's only one way to get a better version of yourself, and that's to find your connection within, find something better than what, you know, aspire more than what you are, and go out and find it and reach out to people in the similar path with a similar mindset to get you there. Right. Do you do mental reps at all? Like what's your regimen daily to get yourself mentally prepared?
So I have my 3-year vision. It's what I need. I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going in each one of the pillars of my life. And I'm on a mission for God. I work for God. Like there's no motivation here. I don't need motivated.
Okay.
I know exactly what I need to do today and I'm going to do it.
Perfect.
Period.
Absolutely. I just didn't know if you had anything mapped out. Like some people are so meticulous with what they do per day.
Yeah. So it's planning, being strategically planned, but also it's being inspired. You got to be connected on a daily basis. You're trained and coached by God on a daily basis when you run like this. You're mentored by God, the creator of the whole universe. There's not a better coach, not a better mentor than God. And men can actually open up this revelation with the tools that we have and the consistency on a daily basis. They just got to be willing to do the work. Then when they find out what their mission is, then we make it happen together as a brotherhood.
It's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And like I said, your story is absolutely phenomenal. And the greatest part about it is that your chapter and the book that you wrote of your life had a second half to it that's just as important as the first. More important, excuse me. And I'm so glad that you got a chance to share it and carve out some time on the T.R.O.N podcast with, a guy from Michigan just trying to pick people's brains on how they became successful people and what their missions are in life. And that's what the show is all about, to talk to people like yourself. And I'm very honored that you carved out the time for me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man.
Anytime, brother. You take care. And like I said, shout out to the Big Balls Brotherhood and the great work that you do. And more importantly, it's not for everybody. It's for those that you decide that are best to fit in your vision with your team that are ready to go.
That's right. Thank you.
Amen, brother. Take it easy.